turn out. In our society, a person's sex is based on their genitalia. That decision is then used to assume a person's gender as boy or girl, rather than a spectrum of identities that the child should be determining for themselves. Nowadays, we are assigning gender even before birth. We have become socially conditioned to participate in the gendering of children at the earliest possible moment, whenever a sonogram can identify its genitalia. Gender reveal parties have become a trendy way to celebrate the child's fate, steering them down a life of masculine or feminine ideals before ever meeting them. It's as if the more visible LGBTQIA+ people become, the harder the heterosexual community attempts to apply new norms. I think the majority fear becoming the minority, and so they will do anything and everything to protect their power. I often wonder what this world would look like if people were simply told, "You're having a baby with a penis or a vagina or other genitalia. Look up intersex if you're confused about other." What if parents were also given instructions to nurture their baby by paying attention to what the child naturally gravitates toward and to simply feed those interests? What if parents let their children explore their own gender instead of pushing them down one of the only two roads society tells us exist? When our gender is assigned at birth, we are also assigned responsibilities to grow and maneuver through life based on the simple checking off of those boxes. Male, female, black, white, straight, gay. Kids who don't fit the perfect boxes are often left asking themselves what the truth is. Am I a girl? Am I a boy? Am I both? Am I neither? As a child, I struggled mightily with these questions. And that struggle continued to show up in various ways throughout my life. Now, as an adult, I have a much better grasp of sexuality, gender, and the way society pressures us to conform to what has been the norm. I understand how this sense of normality doesn't hold a space for those of us who don't fit the aesthetic of what a boy or girl should be, or how a man or woman should perform. Unfortunately, we are still struggling to move the conversation past an assumed identity at birth. And LGBTQIA+ people are not just fighting for the right to self-identify and be accepted in a society that is predominantly composed of two genders, which would be the bare minimum of acceptance. We are also fighting to survive physical acts of violence. Many of us are not even surviving that. The spectrum of our traumas can be as broad as our identities. I started writing this book with the intention that every chapter would end with solutions for all the uncomfortable and confusing life circumstances I experienced as a gay black child in America. I quickly learned this book would be about so much more. About the overlap of my identities and the importance of sharing how those intersections created my privilege and my oppression. Many of us carry burdens from the traumas of our past, and they manifest in our adulthood. We all go through stages of accepting and struggling with our various identities, gay, straight, or non-identifying. And race and various other factors play a role in how we navigate them. Many of us are always in a state of working through something, always in a state of becoming, a more aware version of self. This book is an exploration of two of my identities, black and queer, and how I became aware of their intersections within myself and in society. How I've learned that neither of those identities can be contained within a simple box, and that I enter the room as both of them despite the spaces and environments I must navigate. In the white community, I am seen as a black man first, but that doesn't negate the queer identity that will still face discrimination. In the black community, where I more often find myself, it is not the black male identity that gets questioned immediately. It is that intersection with queerness that is used to reduce my blackness and the overall image of black men. Because this is a memoir, I'm sharing some of my personal memories with you. These memories are specific to my experience as a kid, teen, and young adult, but they also underline some of the universal experiences of black and/or queer people. My struggles are that of black men and queer men and the people who exist at the intersection of both identities. That's where the manifesto part comes in. I believe that the dominant society establishes an idea of what